bilie na ọpụwala na ụgwọ na ọtapụ m ji abịa mejesi orure tọnụ nke m ibu nkos kemgbe Satọde m bịara amaghị egbule m mgbe ahụ masị oke ya ebe were ihe kechie m anya kechizie m aka m so ọ kpọzi m apụ ndị anụ nga na-asị ya where they carry this girl she had tell you say since where this girl come here you never tell me wetin you see for this girl I said they nothing know say the girl talk say she wan poo my I said what of toilet wey dey for that room wey dem dey I say toilet don full I know say oga never send money no use pump water no dey so the girl I no wan take am the man carry am go for bush ya bụ ya mụ na moto anyị makwa a very long journey nye ma aka ishimanya ama m ebe akpọ ma agaga ya lọtuzie ọ ya na ya bụkwa masị ya emepe moto ketu maka onye 1000 na ya msi I don't know you don't know me yes na m chọọ wee m lawa chọọ were lawa ma lọtuzie ya hụzie ya mụrụ n'ọkaigwe ka m chọtara onye ha kpọrọ from Garden Park n'ọkaigwe roundabout yes ma jụwazie ndị mmadụ mere roundabout ọkaigwe ụzọ Enugu ebe ahụ ihe bụ control Musiana but elezi m anya na ka m cheki ma ga-enweta plate number ya nwa na the motor were place yes yeti because ọ gwa m that yeah ash color yes nye ọ gwara m na ọ na-aga delivery na Enugu otu ko shi butu oleme mgbe ya drop zentizi ishi ma jụwazie ndị mmadụ si ha rọwa na asị anyị ma achọ m ịkpọ mọmị m ha gwa m na onwe mebie duti ihe megen na agahụ ehepụ m otu washide
Welcome back. This is Radio Biafra House of Service coming to you through Radio Biafra London. You know, I put this in order for you people to understand the type of place we are in. This is what is happening in our land today. This is what is happening. Do you think that the government does not know about these people? Where somebody will enter into a car, in a car park. Do you know what is a car park? Other places? In other places, every car that leaves a park, the car park, is traceable. The driver is known. The car is always known. But they will go now. It's no more only going on this maybe standing on the street, hiking for a car. You understand? Or looking for kabu. No, in a car park that should be organized with CCTV camera. Any car that moves out, they should know. Okay, investigation. If this girl, the driver, he must have known. She must have seen the driver. If it is a country, they will call the girl, come, sit down. Maybe they will see the driver. Why is the car park not organized to the extent that any car that moves out from there with people should be known? Because once you load people in your car, you have you are the guarantor. People's lives are now in your hands, so you must be responsible. You must be held accountable. Just like once you buy a plane ticket, you are traceable. That plane is traceable. That is also the same way that any car that is in the park, moves out of the park, should be traceable. But lo and behold, Nigeria is a jungle. We call Nigeria is a zoo. Nigeria is zoo, but Nigeria is zoo. Calling Nigeria is a zoo is an insult to the zoo, to the animals. It's a complete lawless jungle. Nothing is organized. Somebody will be coming to a park, load people, and go and sell their organs, sell them to kidnappers, sell them to armed robbers, and he will come back even the same day or the following day and load again. Highest, only the other people caught, settle. You see, we are people. The first thing, I don't know. I have finished, but I will open the line. But let me say this: when you see Nigeria with Nigerians being religious fanatics, both Islamo, Christiano, other religions, Nigeria normally is supposed to be a paradise. Are you hearing me? Nigeria is supposed to be a paradise, but the opposite is the case. You ask yourself, what is the need of all this? You see that driver that collect them to go and sell. Next Sunday, in Sunday, he will go and give testimony. And he will give tithe now. How God has blessed him that week. Selling people to killers. You see the person cutting the necks of a human being. They will pray 5 times as Muslims. And you ask, what is the need of this religion to humanity? What? Nigeria, no. Do you see where I always some people will say no, it is not about the religion, it is the mentality. And I ask, who created that mentality? One of the main factors of creating or establishing a type of mentality is religion. One of the main factors is religion. It creates people's mentality in a pattern, in a particular pattern. So why is this going on in Imo State, in different parts of Biafra land? The government is not aware. All these military checkpoints, police checkpoints, they full there everywhere, but they are not catching these people. Don't you think that there's something horribly wrong? That the government is aware that this is one of the ways of, reducing the populations of Biafrans. Don't you see? Don't you see that the war have never ended? We naively believed that the war ended in 1970. But as Abaribe said, I am confirming that the war never ended. We are just ignorant. We are naive. Oh, one Nigeria. But the people, they are doing their thing. Do you know that the most important thing in a country, first of all, security. That is the primary function of the government. Security, to secure life, because you must be alive in order to eat. First of all, is securing your life. Once you are dead, you don't care about no more. You don't know anything about food or money. No. First of all, you must be secure. But Nigeria has failed. Why should we continue in this failed system? I will open my lines. Our lines are now open. You call and give us your view. Just few calls I will receive this evening. The direct line is +1 213 328 6224. I repeat, +1 213 328 6224. Our WhatsApp and Signal line is +61 405 142 547. I repeat, +61 405 142 547. You can give us a call and talk your viewpoints on the issues mentioned. But remember, we are fighting, agitating for freedom, restoration of Biafra out of necessity. Had it been Nigeria, it's okay. And had it been Nigeria is a place meant for meritocracy, where things happen, or where rule of law happens. We shouldn't be agitating. We have no space for agitation, because why are you agitating? Why? When there is there is equal treatment, equity, and justice, why are you then agitating? Where they build international airports anywhere, any part of the country, international seaports, they give equal treatment to everybody. Well, then what? Everybody have the same, the same level, the same limit, the same access. Then why? You will not be afraid of using your Igbo name in order to export your container to Nigeria. But today you are afraid. If you use Igbo name, it will be seized. It will go into demurrage. It will be seized. You understand? And all your businesses, or anything, everything, you will lose your money. that they force you in order to do what? To use Hausa name or Yoruba name. Is that equity? If you are treating us as third-class citizens, why shouldn't we agitate? Caller on Mazi, let me see. Mazi, you always call on this line. Can you hear me? Mazi, is it? Mazi Obasi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Welcome to the program. Please go on.
Thank you. My name is SC Obasi and I'm calling from Ghana. Thank you very much, Mazi Jonathan. Listening to you, I begin to wonder, I mean, if we have just a piece of the information you've shared today, which of course our leader has been sharing for years, why would any Biafra not want to have Biafra is what have ceased to, I've been unable to understand. Now, considering what Nigeria and the West are willing to risk to let us go, it shows any Biafran with just a half brain what we are capable of and who we are and why they don't want to let us go. And what are they risking? They are risking the division of the country rather than give us anything that will even make us reconsider since after the war. They have refused to implement every piece of agreement that they have entered into those who were willing to trust them. Our road is the worst. Everything in our land, like you have said, they have made our land uninhabitable. And all this cry and shout that we have been crying and shouting for years, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for those who do not know, actually started by trying to see if this country, so-called Nigeria, could have been better, until he came to the realization that it will never be better. And they have risked that. They have risked saying, okay, you know what, calm down. We have started doing your road, we have opened your seaport, we have begun to develop your land, we have removed military from your land. You know, do things that gives you a sign that these are people who are willing to, cohabitate with you. No, they have done everything to show us that, one, they are not willing to let us even live freely with our own resources. They have also shown us that even the resources that they call a collective one, though it comes from a place, they will still not use it to develop our land. On top of that, they will still not apologize for killing us on demanding that which is right. And doing all these things, knowing fully well that the end result is going to be the independence of Biafra. And not just that, but the total balkanization of the contraption that they now have. And they are willing, so adamant, arrogantly, they are willing to risk that balkanization rather than let us have that which a decent human being would like to have. Just a decent living. And somebody will sit back in 2024 on different social media platforms, supposedly with the Biafran blood running in him or her, still speaking apologetically to the Nigerian system and to those who have killed and maimed us for years. Sit on Twitter spaces with their nice edited profile pictures, acting as if they are more intelligent than everybody else put together, while enslaving the generations for years to come. Sometimes I wonder if at all they listen to you or some of these broadcasts, because any Biafran at this very stage who does not know, who is not yet clear in his mind that our only option is to have our own country, that Biafran, I doubt seriously his paternity. His paternity should be caused to a serious questioning, because nobody who truly is a Biafran blood should be happy or should even have remotely any kind of hope whatsoever in a system that has proven time after time that they are set up simply for the total annihilation of a certain race called Igbo. The second point I wanted to touch is the army that is being sent to the north to protect the farmland, as they said. My question is, who are those attacking the farmland? Are the armies being sent to the north to protect the farmland different from the same army that ought to have been fighting the Fulani terrorists in the first place? Who are those destroying that farmland that the army are said to be going to protect? And how is the protection of that farmland different from the fight they were supposed to fight against those terrorists in the first place? What is this duplication of duty, duplication of functions that seem to be prevalent in the Nigerian system that they can't just get over it? Is it because of the little crumbs it puts in their pocket? And they said they are going there to protect the farmland. What farmland? From who? From the same people they are sponsoring? Or are they working on a different kind of security vote so that they can raise more money and keep building their arsenal to take the land from the indigenous people? And some people are applauding them. The other side of the coin also could also be that they are trying to checkmate the IPOB's farming revolution, because they have seen that their policy of making our farmland unsafe, their clandestine policy of making our farmland insecure so that we will lack food, so that they can wake up as they have done in the past and say, we are blocking food from going to any part of the country. We are going to keep our food in the north. Our food is not going to be exported. How do you even call movement of food from one state to the other state within the same thing you call a country an export? But they use that language to tell you that in their mind, you are not one of them. But they have seen that their gra-gra, they are holding their so-called farm produce over the neck of everybody in the zoo as a way of controlling what goes where, has failed in Biafra land due to our revolution in the agri sector. They have seen the expected result in a no distant time. I say expected because the result we are receiving now is not something we should start celebrating yet, because we are still far from full security. But we have initiated the right steps that in a few years, they are now afraid that we will be the one to say our food will not cross River Benue. So now they are sending armies to protect the farmland, to checkmate the activity of IPOB as far as our food security plans are concerned. And somebody will sit somewhere and support any idiot in finding ways to destroy the only institution since the existence of the zoo that has truly stood for the people of Biafra, and especially the Igbo-speaking part of Biafra. Somebody in his right senses will be making comments publicly and be able to garner support amongst Biafran to destroy that which has given us a voice. The only institution that is going to guarantee our total emancipation from the clutches of these evil entities. And that person will claim that his or her fraternity should not be called to question. I had compiled the ex-handle of the members of reps in the so-called Southeast just before the announcement came up that the man has withdrawn whatever he was trying to use to force agitation out of the system. But they can't. Whatever they pass, we will say agitate. And today, in today's news, a lady, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, is being proposed as a CGN, as a CJN. This is a woman who presided over the judgment that made Pope Uzodimma the governor from number 4 to number 1st to the 1st. Now they want to compensate her with CGN. That's the Nigerian system you want to get justice from. This is the same woman who was part of the panel that I don't even know. Ironically said that the rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is illegal, and at the same time saying the government have the right to benefit from illegality by saying that there is nothing wrong with the government engaging in illegality in order to bring somebody to the so-called justice. That is the woman they are proposing for CJN. It is in this evening's news. This is the same woman who presided over the judgment, who was part of the panel over the so-called federal judgment on the presidential election, that knew clearly that the so-called Chinedu did not meet the legal requirement as per Nigeria's law, decided to interpret Abuja as a state. The same woman who delivered the judgment banning Michael Andoka from participating in any kind of office in Nigeria. The same woman that has been used over and over and over and over again. She was the only person in the panel in 2016 Rivers State Election Tribunal who said that there should be a rerun because there were irregularities in Wike's election. The only person, the same person in the judgment of that favors her boss, Chinedu, she did not see any irregularities to speak about. This woman is compensated, is now being proposed to be compensated, which she will be compensated as the CJN. You want us to be in the country where merit is of no use, where all you need to do is engage in inegalities to favor your paymasters, and you will be heavily compensated. I refuse to be part of that. And we are going to do whatever it takes. As we are doing, we will continue to do it. Those in the north, just like we have said, every empire once thought they were untouchable. Those in the north who think that they are going to hold sway forever, let them know that the north is not ever going to produce any person like the IBBs, like the Buharis, who were produced out of suffering. All their children now are living in comfort, and they cannot withstand the angry Biafrans that this generation has produced through their own wickedness. They can't withstand us. And we are going to win in the end because we have always won. Mazi, Jonathan, thank you very much for the time.
Mazi, thank you, Mazi Obasi. Uzodrege, thank you very much. Caller on WhatsApp, you have been here. Please, welcome to the program. I don't know what is happening to my signal. Calls are coming, but I cannot pick them because it's all blacked out. Caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me? Are you there? Caller on WhatsApp. Can you hear me? Caller on WhatsApp once again. Can you hear me? Caller on WhatsApp. Mazi, you are speaking, it's not coming, it was not coming out. Yes, I know. Sometimes these things happen. Sometimes if you are using any earpiece or anything, so you think that you are hearing, but you are talking, it cannot come out. Mostly. Please go on.
So they are proposing against people and against agitations. You see one problem, and which I always said. I said that politicians are never the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria are the people. Because politicians will be doing everything and be going away with it. Nobody, no, this is what they will even be thinking, which you always say, the hatred of Igbo man. They are there. All these people are doing looting and doing everything now, but they cannot say anything. Look at Malami. They are begging him to bring the money he steal, which is supposed to be in the prison. They will be talking of it, and he must, if it is a working a society that is working. So you see that the problem is the people, and the people they are facing all the things they are facing, they cannot even unite and stand in one voice and say that enough is enough. They can never do it. And secondly, what I want to say again, what baffles me sometimes, I always say this, Nigeria is a graveyard for Igbo people, and if we Igbo man and for Biafran as a whole. We must do anything humanly possible to get out of Nigeria. You see what you are saying last time, they mortgage what we have. The next thing in line, if care is not taken, ma ọ bụkwa na ndị be anyị mere arụ ka anyị so mmọnwụ na ndị a nwere ike ịkpakokwuru anyị ncha niile erego ọga na anyị ree everything kezi ihe ọzọ. And ọzọ dịka another thing again is that I don't know what our people see. We love our haters too much. Mostly Britain, because Harold Wilson said that they can never, that the death of millions of Biafran children can never make them to change their policy. And up to this moment, their policy remains the same. But it's an Igbo man who cannot think. And we are in their place doing everything, and they are doing everything to make sure that they finish us. Upon everything they have been doing to finish us now, you see now the Gulf of the Bight of Biafra, which they named the Gulf of Guinea now, they are still finding a way after Niger have pushed them out of their place. They are still finding a way to make sure that they bring Igbo man down, that they make sure that they finish everything about us. And the nature and the God have been so kind to us, but some of our people, we don't care. Some of our people don't care. That is all I have to say. Mazi, God bless you and God bless Biafra.
There were. Caller, please go on. Can you hear me? Caller on WhatsApp. I don't know my signal, the phone just black out. I cannot understand.
Hello.
I cannot see callers. Caller on WhatsApp, please go on.
Hello.
Yeah, Mazi, go on. Caller on WhatsApp, please go on. Mazi, go on. Why are you shouting hello? Go on, please.
Ndewo, sir. Ndewo. Biko achọghị m ịkpọ aha mana abọta echi m igwe ọcha wee na-agbọ. Igwe ọcha ka m si wee na-agbọ. Achọghị m ịkpọ aha. Biko echi m igwe ọcha wee na-agbọ. I can hear you.
Mazi Ganiru, you are just listening.
I can hear you.
My goodness. Mazi, you are listening to your voice, I don't know, through the radio, I don't know. Please. You are wasting you. Go on, please. Go on.
Ndewo sir. Ndewo sir. Ndewo. Biko eshimi igwe ọcha wee na-akpọ. Eshimi igwe ọcha wee na-akpọ. Aha m wụ achọm aha m. Achọm ịkpọ aha m. Biko ọ bụrụ na imecha program a biko gị kpọọ m na WhatsApp. Ọkwanụ gị sendụọla m nọmba inquiry nọmba anyị ka m nwee m ike kọntaktị biko ka sendụọla m biko gị weda ana m anụ.
Mazi, I don't know.
Biko gị unu sendụọla m nkwagharị nọmba. Ozigbo ihe na-eme ya.
Mazi, ihe ị ga-eme, Mazi, ị na-anụ ihe m na-ekwu? Mazi na-aṅa m ntị. Ihe ị ga-eme wụ mmecha program ekpọọ m na this line because I cannot record your number. Or idere m ihe si na ọ go na akpọ from Iguacha, please. Because there are many numbers I cannot locate it. So, ndewo, udode.
Ọ bụrụ na ị ga-akpọ m mgbe ọbụla ị nwere ohere. Oge sendụọla m nkwagharị nọmba.
Thank you very much. I've had you, no need of repetition. Biafrans and lovers of freedom, I don't know what happened. My phone, my signal line, the phone just blacked off. I cannot, calls are coming in, but I cannot even see nothing. I don't know why. Whether it's fully loaded, but I will try to check later. I cannot even open. Let me see. Cannot try it. I try to open, but no way. So we must continue what we are doing. I think this is where I'm going to finalize, close the calls, switch off the phones. We must make sure that we restore Biafra. We don't need to fail. We don't have to. We have no excuse to fail. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is there suffering. You know, he's a price, or one of the price to pay. We must continue. Failure is not an option. Because we are in this struggle in order to restore who we are. We are in this struggle in order to come back to who we are. You understand me? Otherwise, in Nigeria, we are nothing in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we are nothing. We are reduced to nothing. A peculiar people that can do anything. A peculiar people that can, have the ability to compete in the international community on production, on manufacturing, on using our brains. But here we are in Nigeria, we are reduced into non-entities, third-class citizens. Doesn't it make you feel bad? Doesn't it make you feel bad on how we have been reduced into nothingness? Doesn't it make you feel bad? We fought a war of 3 years. In that 3 years, we didn't lack fuel. We were using, our fathers that time used red oil, refine it, and modify motor car engines, lorry engines to be using red oil. Where are those technologies today? Don't you ask yourself all these questions? Where are those technologies today? Because we are in Nigeria, so we cannot do all these things. We are reduced into nothingness. We are reduced from doing this type of thing again. Do you see? We manufactured many things we are using that time. But today, we no longer do that. We are now subdued, programmed into using importing containers from China, things that we can easily manufacture in our land. But you don't dare try it, because if you do, the Nigerian government will put heavy difficulty and close everything, because you're an evil man. They will make sure that you don't make no profit, so that you close. They will not tell you to close, but the taxes and the stiflings, you will close by yourself, because no benefit, no profit. So, is that how we are going to continue? And our people are being turned into killers. Our people are being turned into all sorts of animals today. A glorious people being programmed, reprogrammed into turning to another thing. We must continue in what we are doing. Because a fight for the restoration of Biafra is a fight for our collective survival. Do not think that you have money, you make wealth, now, you're okay. No, you are not okay unless we are okay. Are you hearing me? So, this is what we are fighting for our collective survival. So you have a stake. Each and every one of us have stakes in it. You must support what we are doing. Thank you for listening. Biafra remains who we are. Biafra is our religion. Biafra is our ideology. Biafra is everything we have. Therefore, we have no justification, no excuse to fail. We must continue until Biafra is restored. From me, Mazi Jonathan Chinedu, from here, it is simply good evening.
Chukwu okike abịama onye anyị nọ n'aka ya mere anyị ihe mara mma. Sọmpe ugbu a bụ oge anyị ji ala n'ala nna m. Biafra bara ọma, ala Chukwu gọziri, ala mmanụ ahụ, ala Chukwu gọziri, the rising sun. Mgbe mbụ ka mkpụrụ okwu wee sị na o ji ihe nwatakịrị, o were aka ya elu, aka fụwa ya ụfụ wetuo ya, maka na ọnọdụ ugo adịrọ n'ikpe mma. Sọmpe lee ndị ala adịghị mma, ndị izu, ndị na-aṅụ ọbara mmadụ, ndị okwu ha abịakwala n'ọzọ ka ha kwatuso Biafra. Mana Chukwu okike abịama gị ka ị nọ n'aka, mana Chukwu okike abịama gị ka ị nọ n'aka, na anyị ga-ala. Ugbu a bụ ka anyị ji nwere onwe anyị, ugbu a bụ ka anyị ji ala. Biafra na-atago. The land of the rising sun is a home of hope, a home of hope of the Biafrans. The far of the eastern land is a promised land, a blessed land of the Chukwu Abịama. Ebe ka bụ unu si Biafra. Ebe ka unu si Biafra gaimara. Biafra ga nebozo gabiru agaimara. Biafra ga chukwa biama. Ebe ka unu si Biafra. Ebe ka unu si Biafra gaimara. Biafra ga nebozo gabiru agaimara. Biafra ga.
Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media. IPOB press release, May 9th, 2024. IPOB advises Biafrans youths not to join Nigeria Army recruitment exercise going on now and calls on Nigerian youths to wake up. The global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the great and indomitable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, cautions Biafran youths not to join the recruitment exercise currently being advertised by the Nigeria Army. It will be foolishness for any sane Nigerian youth, particularly Biafran youth, to sacrifice his or her life to save a sinking ship called Nigeria. Terrorism and insecurity is a lucrative business in Nigeria. Northern leaders, with tacit support from the federal government of Nigeria being helped by foreign colonizers, groom terrorists that are ravaging the northern region. These terrorists have taken full control of many areas in the northern Nigeria. They have acquired sophisticated weapons through the help of late Muhammad Buhari Fulanized government. The terrorists are seeking to create their own Islamic state in the north. These terrorists declared war on the Nigerian government and her soldiers and have successfully depleted the Nigerian military's manpower. More so, the low morale, tribalism, nepotism, and poor salary in the Nigerian army have forced a lot of soldiers to proceed on voluntary retirement. Some of the soldiers that applied for voluntary retirement and were refused by the Nigerian army authorities absconded in what the military referred to as AWOL. These factors have forced the Nigeria army to advertise for recruitment almost twice or thrice in a year. It is imperative to inform the Nigerian youths, especially the Biafran youths, to avoid being recruited by the Nigeria army to be sent to be sacrificed for terrorism business of the cabals. Only ignorant youths will fall into this trap and be used for insecurity cash out. If you get recruited, you are mostly likely going to be deployed into the terrorized northern region and most likely going to be murdered by the terrorists groomed and sponsored by the Nigeria government and its military. These terrorists receive security brief on the movement of the Nigerian soldiers from their members among the Nigeria military hierarchy. By now, every sensible Nigerian youth should understand that the insecurity and terrorism in Nigeria is a big business enterprise for the cabal. The higher the insecurity and terrorist attacks, the more money are looted via bloated arms purchases and security votes. Nigerian government, the military, and the northern elders are cashing out under the cover of fighting terrorism and insecurity. But behind closed doors, they wine and dine with the terrorists. A government that pays ransom in millions of dollars to terrorists is indirectly funding terrorism. We advise Biafran youths not to be lured into untimely death. They should not allow themselves to be exploited into a money-making business of terrorism. IPOB advises Ndigbo to keep off from the Nigerian army recruitment exercise. Remember, Igbo youths are endangered species, and our enemies think that you can be sent to the slaughterhouse of terrorists and jihadists. The Nigerian government will never announce recruitment into good jobs that will benefit the youths, but into suicide mission job like their Boko Haram infiltrated military. Any Igbo youths who would like to serve in the military should wait a little while longer for the coming of Biafra nation, where military service will be recognized and rewarded accordingly. It is time that Nigerian youths ask the looting club politicians to bring their children who are overseas partying and enjoying their parents' loot to return home and join the Nigerian army in order to defend their parents' business enterprise called Nigeria. Nigerian youths, wake up! Biafrans youths are already awake. Comrade M. Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB. Please don't forget to support the ESN at www.ipob.org.
Welcome
Thanks.
to IPOB Rapture Media. IPOB press release, May 6, 2024. IPOB fingers Enugu State Governor and NEF in the Fulani herdsman killings at Uzo Uwani, Enugu State. The global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the resolute and formidable leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, condemns the Fulani terrorists' attacks on the peaceful Nimbo community in Uzo Uwani LGA of Enugu State in Biafra land, which left many dead and others severely wounded. The barbaric Fulani jihadists masquerading as herdsmen went into a peaceful community with assault rifles and killed defenseless men, women, and children without provocations. IPOB blames the Fulani terrorists' attack at Uzo Uwani in Enugu State on Governor Barrister Peter Mba. IPOB has warned Dr. Peter Mba severally against his evil romance with leaders of Fulani herdsmen who want the governor to allocate land to them for Fulani settlements. His romance with the terrorists emboldened them to launch a terrorist attack and killed over 10 persons in his state to test his loyalty. As expected, the Fulani puppet, Governor Mba, did not mention the Fulani herdsmen as the attackers during his hypocritic visit to the attacked community, let alone call for their arrest. His political ambition has beclouded his conscience. The governor's cowardice statement on the murderous attack in his own Enugu state is an endorsement to the Fulani terrorists to launch further attacks. But IPOB and ESN will resist both Governor Peter Mba, his Fulani masters, and their terrorists masked as herdsmen from turning Enugu state into a killing field. Peter Mba's 8-year governorship ambition must not become human sacrifice of the lives of Enugu citizens. Well-meaning citizens of Enugu and Ndigbo in general must caution Peter Mba not to surrender Enugu citizens to the slaughterhouse of jihadists because of his political ambition. Similarly, Northern Elders Forum, NEF, must be held responsible for the Fulani terrorists' attack in Enugu state. The evil men in NEF were the ones that sent their foot soldiers called herdsmen to attack Enugu state to justify the false alarm they raised last week that IPOBESN are killing northerners living in Biafra or the eastern region. The outcry of terrorist sponsors in NEF was an open invitation to the Fulani terrorists, masquerading as herdsmen to attack Igboland in reprisal. Northern Elders Forum message to Biafrans is clear. ESN will reply to their message in our own way at our own time. IPOB sympathizes with the victims of the Fulani terrorists' attack and advises them to continue to be on guard and to stop fraternizing with the Fulanis in their communities. Enugu state citizens should mobilize themselves for self-defense because their governor and the Nigeria security forces are working with the Fulani terrorists to kill and forcefully occupy their ancestral land. ESN will be of help if provided with timely and accurate information about the terrorists' movements. ESN can be contacted via appropriate channels or via IPOB inquiry lines available online. For those who don't know, the reason the federal government of Animal Kingdom called Nigeria and some eastern politicians are still detaining Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, MNK, is to buy time to create Fulani settlements in the southeast. They know that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is around, this Fulani nonsense would have never continued. But as long as IPOBESN is still around, their Fulanization agenda will be resisted and completely frustrated. Those who think that keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu away will favor their agenda are mistaken because IPOB volunteers and ESN will ensure that no Fulani settlement will be established in any part of Biafra land. Fulani terrorists nicknamed herdsmen and their sponsors must understand that IPOB never dies and will never die until Biafra is restored as a sovereign and independent nation. Enugu stakeholders should join IPOB to warn Dr. Peter Mba and his government not to cede any inch of Enugu land to Fulani terrorists for whatever purpose. His governorship ambition does not worth the lives and security of Enugu people. Governor Peter Mba should stand up as an Igbo man and defend his people from terrorists and stop behaving like an ostrich. Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB.
Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media. Press release May 4th, 2024. IPOB will chase EDC from their offices for failing to provide adequate electricity in the southeast or exit the region. Following the abysmal power supply from Emeka Offor's Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EDC, in the southeast, we, the global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the indomitable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, calls on EDC to provide adequate electricity in the southeast or exit the region for reliable companies to take over. EDC is defrauding her consumers with exorbitant electricity bills without supplying the power. The company has refused to give her consumers prepaid electricity meters, but keeps giving illegal estimated bills. In many communities in the southeast, EDC gives community bills running in the hundreds of thousands of naira. Whether the light was provided or not, any village that didn't pay the illegal estimated bills will have the irregular light supply disconnected. Communities buy their own power transformers and electricity cables, at the same time pay corrupt EDC company to link power to the community. Afterwards, EDC will build the same village for the same power supply. EDC dismantled some communities' faulty transformers for repairs and maintenance, but fails to return it for years, some 10 years and some 5 years till date. Those transformers were not restored nor seen. Emeka Offor and his company, EDC Cup, has full, and we are going to show them that people are owners of the region and they are reaping and digbo off with abysmal power supply and exorbitant bills. How can our people be paying for lights they did not consume? How wicked is EDC and its management? IPOB calls on EDC to stop defrauding our people or exit the southeast region or provide lights to the citizens. Surprisingly, the Anambra State Governor, Prof. Chukwuma Charles Soludo, on March 25, 2023, signed MOU and paid a contract sum of over N100B to Emeka Offor and his dubious EDC to supply 24 hours light in Anambra State. After 1 year payment of over N100 billion to EDC for steady light, Anambra State is still in darkness. EDC has not provided 6 hours of steady light in a day, let alone 24 hours light. Through this fraudulent arrangement, huge sums of undisclosed sum in excess of 100 billion naira from Anambra State Treasury fraudulently changed hands between Emeka Offor and government of Anambra State. Till date, the government of Anambra State has failed, neglected, and refused to make public the details and terms of this MOU, despite repeated demands from the stakeholders. The fact that the details of the said MOU is shrouded in secrecy left much to be desired. Governor Chukwuma Soludo should have known that Emeka Offor is not a person to be trusted. Governor Soludo is being intimidated and threatened not to talk about the money or risk losing his second-term bid by Emeka Offor, who is the anointed son of the Fulani Caliphate. Prophet Charles Soludo is blindly taking Anambra government back to the dark days of godfatherism by his evil alliance with Emeka Offor. After the previous government of Senator Chris Ngega delivered Anambra State from devilish political godfathers, Prophet Chukwuma Soludo should wake up before it's too late. The Southeast power distribution was sold to the Fulani anointed son, so that through him they will keep the Southeast underdeveloped, since no meaningful development can thrive without reliable and efficient power supply. EDC is a satanic force of underdevelopment sent by the Fulani Caliphate to frustrate industrialization of Biafra land. The power sector in Nigeria has been decentralized and liberalized. That means states, local government, and private companies can generate and distribute their own light. It becomes imperative that the forces of darkness in the southeast called EDC must be shown the exit door. The abysmal and unavailable power supply from EDC will frustrate economic activities and industrialization of Biafra land. EDC, therefore, must be kicked out. EDC, Iwata Iwelu Destruction Company, is the greatest economic sabotage against the people of the entire southeast region. Firstly, under the EDC, Iwata Iwelu Destruction Company, The entire southeast has been thrown into repeated and unending blackouts because of poor distribution of power infrastructure. Secondly, our people are repeatedly billed and forced to pay exorbitant prices for the light that they never consume. Failure to pay the outrageous bills usually attracts severe physical harm, molestations, and arrests. Lastly, EDC indebtedness to the Transmissions Company of Nigeria, TCN, to over N12 billion, led to TCN restricting EDC from using some of their facilities in Enugu. As it stands, EDC is struggling with corporate integrity issues and liquidity to run her operations. The pertinent question to ask is EDC has the capacity to distribute adequate electricity to the southeast with her grossly insufficient budget? It is obvious that EDC is fully aware of her limited capacity to deliver steady power, yet they keep going round the southeast, defrauding and extorting the governors and citizens in the name of power supply. The federal government has deregulated the power sector. Monopoly in the power sector is over. It is either a maker offer and his EEDC provides regular power or is kicked out of the southeast. IPOB will welcome any company that will invest in power generation and distribution to quicken the industrialization and development of the southeast. IPOB is calling for steady lights in the region by EEDC. If they continue with the abysmal light supply in the southeast, IPOB will have no option than to shut down EEDC offices in the southeast in the shortest possible time. Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB.
Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media. IPOB press release May 3, 2024. IPOB sends a serious warning to Ohanis and Digbo to stop plans to apologize to Fulani or face severe consequences. Ohanes Ndigbo has committed a sacrilege and abomination against Ndigbo and against all the indigenous peoples in Nigeria. The attention of the family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, led by the indomitable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has been drawn to the sacrilegious and shameful move by Ohaneze Ndigbo to apologize to the murderous Fulani Caliphate in what they called ablution and what they called Ako na Obi. Ohaneze has crossed the red line by attempting to go and apologize to the Fulani terrorists for what the clueless Ohaneze called forgiveness from the Caliphate for Igbo military officers' involvement in the 1966 coup that led to the death of Sir Amadu Bello. By the abominable planned visit of Ohanis, Ndigbo will be on record as aggressors instead of victims. These red-cap thieves in Ohanis are morons and ignorant fellows that have allowed bribe money to take away their sense of reasoning. These men are the household enemies of Ndigbo and other indigenous people in Nigeria. Blood-tasty Fulanis have murdered indigenous people of Biafra and Ndigbo from 1933, 1945, 1953, 1966 till date, indigenous people of Hausa, indigenous people of Yoruba, indigenous people of Middle Belt, and other indigenous peoples in Nigeria. These murderous Fulanis have not apologized for killing millions of indigenous people in Nigeria. But the vampires in Ohanze had effrontery to plan to go and apologize to the Fulani Caliphate for the military coup of 1966. The military coup of January 15, 1966 was carried out by young military officers from all ethnic groups in Nigeria to stop Malam Ahmadu Bello and Abubakar Tafawa Balewa from the forceful Islamization of Nigeria. But Major Chukwuma Nziogu and other young military officers, including those from northern Western, saw this and stopped them with Middle Belt regions, stopped them in a bloody coup. Ndigbo never sent military officers to stage a coup for them or to murder on their behalf. Nevertheless, the 1966 coup that was carried out by the young military officers from all the ethnic groups in Nigeria was viciously tagged as Igbo coup. Why was the military coup led by Murtala Mohammed, Babangida, Buhari, Abacha, and other northern military officers not tagged Hausa or Fulani coup? Ohanes Ndigbo leadership has seen cash given by Fulani Caliphate to misrepresent Ndigbo and declare Ndigbo guilty of a crime that was not committed by Ndigbo. Ndigbo has been victims of Fulani massacre in the northern Nigeria from 1933 till date. During the genocidal war of 1966 to 1970, millions of Ndigbo were massacred, both pregnant women and unborn children. Still today, Ndigbo are being slaughtered in their farms and homes by Fulani terrorists. Case of recent Uzo Uwani of Enugu State is a case study. This bunch of Fulani handpicked traitors in Ohanese, led by Iwanyanwu, have not boldly condemned the Fulani's murderous activities against Ndigbo, but decided to make a caricature of Ndigbo's integrity by going to apologize to the murderers. This is the height of insult not only to Ndigbo, but also to all the indigenous people in Nigeria who have been victims of the sponsored Fulani terrorists' attacks. If Ndigbo continues to allow these traitors called Ohaneze Ndigbo to continue parade themselves as leaders of Ndigbo, the lives and safety of Ndigbo is completely compromised. Iwanyanwu and co. should know that nobody elected him. He should resign now before it's become late. The Fulani hand-picked treacherous leaders in Ohanze are representing the interest of Fulani Caliphate, not that of Ndigbo. It is time to stop the treacherous Ohanze from parading themselves as representatives of Ndigbo. They were never appointed nor elected by Ndigbo, but they selected and appointed themselves with the approval of their political masters and Fulani leadership and Hope Uzodinma. Ohaneze Ndigbo has betrayed Ndigbo. They betrayed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They betrayed Peter Obi's presidency. Ohanese are a bunch of hand-picked Fulani political stooges who want to speak for Ndigbo without Ndigbo's consent. Chief Iwanyanwu-led Ohanese faction are traitors. Hope Uzodinma and his Fulani masters selected Iwanyanwu as Ohanese president to do their bidding. These insatiable pot-belly political jobbers in Ohanese do not represent the interest of Ndigbo. The gullible men have been brainwashed by their Fulani masters to apologize to them and take responsibility of atrocities on behalf of Ndigbo for the actions of Nigeria military officers when some of them were not born. Sometimes these insatiable fellows claimed that Igbo youths insult their elders. It's now clear that they are the cause of it. How clueless and senseless these men can be for political favors. If Iwanyanwu led the Ohanese and Dioshi faction dare go ahead to criminalize Ndigbo with the so-called apologies, they will attract serious consequences as long as IPOB is concerned. The eagle eyes of IPOB are watching them, and they will not go free for having such minds. If Ohanese and Ndigbo dare travel to the northern Nigeria and apologize to the murderous Fulani Caliphate, IPOB will declare them persona non gratas, and an order will be given to treat anyone that identifies himself or herself as an Ohanese and Ndigbo member, both at home and in diaspora, as a criminal and traitor, and will be treated as one. In fact, going forward, Ohanese and Ndigbo would stop speaking or representing Ndigbo. Chief Iwanyanwu, your time has elapsed. Iwanyanwu-led Ohanese faction are on their own as no Igbo person, group, association, or community send them to apologize to the murderous Fulani terrorists and their sponsors. If Iwanyanwu and his factional group goes to Sokoto to apologize to the Fulani murderers, they should remain there forever. We reject them as Igbos from that point forward. Comrade Emma, powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB.
Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media. IPOB press release, April 2nd, 2024. IPOB declares May 30th, 2024, a sit-at-home in Biafra land to honor Biafran heroes. We, the global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the indomitable and charismatic leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, declares Thursday, May 30th, 2024, a sit-at-home day in Biafra land for all Biafrans, friends of Biafra, lovers of freedom, and all residents in Biafra land. Annually, we celebrate 30th of May as our Heroes and Heroines Day, when we remember the men and women who died that we may live before, during, and after the Nigeria genocidal war against Biafrans between 1967 and 1970, and beyond, and even until now. Annually, 30th of May is Solemn Memorial Day for Biafrans, to honor our heroes and heroines. Biafrans are asked to observe this one-day sit-at-home in reverence to the spirits of our departed heroes who fought for us to be alive today. Every Biafran in Biafra territory is expected to sit at home on this day and reflect on the danger of the force unity called Nigeria that have taken millions of lives of Biafrans. Other Biafrans outside Biafra territory are also encouraged to honor our heroes by observing the sit-at-home if possible, or by limiting their activities on this day. To that effect, IPOB directs all schools, government offices, private offices, banks, transport unions, market unions, and private individuals to shut down all operations in honor of our heroes and heroines on Thursday, May 30th, 2024. Exceptions to these directives are institutions and individuals on special duties, such as nurses, doctors, ambulance services, hospitals, and medical workers, who are allowed to operate on that day. We call on Christians and traditional worshippers to use this day to pray to Chukwu Okike Abiyama for the fallen heroes and also pray for Biafra independence from this murderous contraption called Nigeria. Heroes Remembrance Day is a call to duty for Biafrans to remember and honor our fallen heroes who were brutally murdered between 1967 to 1970 during the genocidal war against Ndigbo before and beyond. Biafrans living in the northern and western part of the zoo called Nigeria will join and stay indoors for this commemoration and remembrance of our heroes and heroines who died so that we may live. Biafrans and IPOB members in diaspora can organize peaceful rallies with permit from their host nations where possibly. Symposium and seminars can be organized in foreign countries to tell our story to citizens of the world about the past and current genocide against Biafrans by the Nigerian state. At this special event, IPOB members must light candles in remembrance of our fallen heroes. Heroes like our eternal leader Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, retired General Philip Effiong, Colonel Achuzi, Air Raid, Frank Opigo, Okonkondem, Sam Bakwe, Kanu Ibiam, and many others who contributed immensely to the survival of Biafrans from the extermination war led by genocidists Yakubu Gowon, T.Y. Danjuma, I.B. Babangida, Olusegun Obasanjo, and Muhammadu Buhari, the then Nigeria military head of state, and many other killers in their squads and through British guidance must be remembered. Basically, Biafrans will not forget what they did to our fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, and children. We must tell the world our story until Biafra is completely restored. IPOB directs all the residents of Biafra land to stay indoors from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the 30th of May 2024. IPOB warns residents in Biafra to avoid loitering about on this day. Those who intend to travel to and fro Biafra land must do so before the evening of May 29th. Avoid any movement if you're not a medical personnel on duty or an emergency worker. Do not give the murderous Nigeria security forces and agent provocateurs an opportunity to harm you or destroy your business while impersonating IPOB and ESN. IPOB and ESN will not enforce the sit at home, but Biafrans must not endanger their lives. Remember, don't be a victim to the murderous Nigeria security forces and the agent provocateurs whose agenda is to blackmail IPOB through sponsored violence. For your own safety, please sit at home on Thursday, May 30th, 2024, and honor Biafran heroes and heroines. Do not endanger your lives. Comrade Emma, powerful Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB. Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media. IPOB press release, the 11th of May 2024. IPOB declares that Biafra will never allow USA or French military base in our territory. We, the global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the great and indomitable leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, categorically reject any plans by the Nigeria government to cede any part of Biafran territory to either USA or France for their military base. If the Nigeria government is interested in hosting US and French military bases, such bases should be in the northern region where terrorists are on rampage. IPOB Intelligence Unit M branch revealed that Biafran territory will become very unsafe should the USA and French bring down their military bases in our land. Nigeria government must understand that Biafrans do not have enough land, let alone the one that will warehouse either America or French military base. Currently, Biafrans are battling to curtail the terrorists groomed and sent to our region by northern elders and their leaders. We don't want terrorists to target Biafra land because of US and French military presences. Irrespective of the state-sponsored insecurity, Biafra land remains calm, peaceful, and progressive. The unconfirmed report stated that the Nigerian government is in secret discussions with the French and US governments to set up their military bases in Nigeria after being booted out from the Sahel regions of West Africa. If the Nigeria government, who is desperately seeking legitimacy from the West, succumbs to this pressure and allow the establishment of US and French military bases in their country, they will regret their decision. If Nigeria are unable to curtail the activities of the local terrorists, what will happen if the foreign terrorists seize Nigeria as a potential abode or target? Unfortunately, the Nigerian government has never taken her citizens into consideration in any decision-making, and certainly will not consider their citizens' safety in the decision of hosting foreign military bases as long as dollars are involved. If the Nigeria government eventually agrees to allow the US and France establish their military bases in Nigeria, let such military bases be sited in the northern and western regions of Nigeria. Northern and western regions of Nigeria have the larger landmass and are borderlands between Nigeria and other West African countries. More so, western and northern regions have been hosting all the foreign institutions and projects for years, therefore, should host the foreign military bases. The eastern region does not have sufficient lands for developmental projects and agricultural programs, let alone having space to warehouse foreign military base. We wish to remind the US and French governments that Biafra land cannot accommodate any military base. Yes, Biafra has IPOB leadership as leaders of the new nation, and whatever concerns our nation must go through the IPOB movement's leadership. We are making it very clear that our land is not available for any military base. Allowing any foreign military base in our land is an infringement to the Biafra status and sovereignty. The risk of hosting foreign military base in Biafran territory is enormous. Outside putting our freedom at risk, it comes with environmental degradation, disruption of local ecosystems, pollution and deforestation. Primarily, the base and her occupants will subvert our social and cultural values, which will distort the homogeneity of Biafrans. The base will attract infiltration of many foreign interests, mostly terrorists, that will create political and social tension in our region. These and many more negative consequences associated with US and/or French military bases are what Biafrans are not ready to deal with. Biafrans have been subjected to years of political and economic strangulation by the Nigeria state and other foreign exploiters because of oil and gas deposits in Biafra land. IPOB will never allow Biafrans to be exposed to more dangers, insecurity, and exploitation that comes with hosting exploitative foreign military bases. We are using this same medium to warn governors, politicians, Ohaneze Ndibo, other interested parties from Biafra region to desist from contemplating or negotiating with America and/or France on this issue. IPOB will not tolerate any person or group that tries to hand over any part of Biafra land for a foreign military base because of dollars or political favors. Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB. Please don't forget to support the ESN at www.ipob.org. Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media, IPOB Press Release, May 10th, 2024. No time for excuses. Provide steady power or vacate Southeast. The global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the indomitable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, calls for EEDC's response to IPOB's publication, which they claimed was a misinformation, a misguided strategy. Only hypocrites misdirect facts and call it misinformation. The deceptive strategy of EEDC to sway the people of the Southeast by claiming that IPOB criticisms over non-supply of power and extortion of their customers as misinformation. EEDC forgot that the same people are their unsatisfied customers. EEDC should not shift blames as the reasons why they failed to provide substantial power in the Southeast. EEDC should take responsibility of abysmal power supply and extortion of people. The people have been subjected to pay for electricity that was not supplied. For years, Ndigbo have been subjected to extortions via overbilling and estimated bills, or for electricity not supplied at all by EEDC. While Ndigbo are groaning in darkness, EEDC is smiling to the bank as a wicked monopolistic slumlord. The hypocritic and deceptive responses of EEDC on national dailies to save faces in the southeast is a waste of time. IPOB members are not foreigners, but part of Ndigbo, and also victims of the power extortion by EEDC. IPOB criticisms are factual, not misinformation as falsely claimed by EEDC in their press statement. The only thing that will spear EEDC is to provide our people with electricity and meters or be ejected out of the region. IPOB maintains that Ndigbo are not interested in a hypocritic statement or media banter from EEDC. The company should provide regular power to the people of Southeast or plan to exit the region with dangerous outcome. More so, the company should provide their customers free meters as applicable in other areas like Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, and recently in Ondo. There should be an end to using criminal technicians to go about extorting and disconnecting people's lights for not paying unsupplied power bills. If EEDC denies they are not extorting money from their customers, they should provide their customers free prepaid meters so that people will pay what they consume. If Geometric can provide free meters to their consumers in Aba and other places within few months of operations, why is EEDC giving estimated bills after years of operations? EEDC claimed that vandalization of their infrastructure contributed to non-power supply to some areas. EEDC are indirectly encouraging vandalism because many communities pay through their nose to EEDC to fix the vandalized infrastructures. Many faulty power transformers that some villagers bought by themselves that EEDC took for repairs were never returned to the communities. EEDC claimed that no amount was involved in the MOU signed by Anambra State Government and EEDC. We therefore challenge EEDC to publish the same terms of MOU. EEDC further claimed that their chairman, Emeka Offer, was wrongly portrayed. They claimed that their chairman had a testimonial of good works in the Southeast, but failed to show any evidence of his good works. IPOB leadership has decided to take it upon ourselves to ensure there is constant light supply in the Biafra land. EEDC must provide adequate light and free prepaid meters across the Southeast. All the lazy excuses why EEDC are strangulating economic growth in the Southeast will no longer be tolerated. If EEDC is finding it difficult to provide power to the Southeast region based on the challenges they enumerated in their press release, then they should plan to vacate the Southeast for another company to take over before we chase them out of Southeast without remorse. Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB. Please don't forget to support the ESN at www.ipob.org.
Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media IPOB press release, the 27th of April, 2024. IPOB once again demand that Justice Binta Nyako step down from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. The global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the indomitable and charismatic leader Mazi Nnamdi Okuchukwu Kanu, reiterate our demand that Justice Binta Nyako step down from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. Justice Binta Nyako is already compromised because the federal government of Nigeria is pointing a gun on her head to jail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in order to free her husband and son from their EFCC case. IPOB will never allow the federal government to use our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as a bait to entice Justice Binta Nyako to carry out their ugly agenda. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu cannot be sacrificed to save the corrupt and treasury looters, Nyako father and son team. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not committed any offense known to law. His only offense is that he is championing Biafra's self-determination movement. If Justice Binta Nyako succumbs to the Fulani government's pressure and jails Mazi Nnamdi, she will still be eliminated by the same government to cover it up so that it cannot be traced back to them. Therefore, Justice Binta Nyako will save her life and that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by stepping down from the case. Binta Nyako must understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu belongs to every Southeasterner, and they don't want to see anything ugly happen to him. the calamity that will befall the country will be better imagined. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Binta Nyako must save their country by releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We urge all Western countries and human rights organizations like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Inter-Society Organization, and other reputable human rights organizations to prevail on the federal government of Nigeria headed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Binta Nyako, the High Court Justice, to save their judicial system in Nigeria. The Buhari government and the former Attorney General, Abubakar Malami, used Justice Binta Nyako to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case ongoing perpetually. Also, the current government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his AGF Lateef Fagbemi has continued blackmailing Justice Binta Nyako with her husband and son's cases at EFCC. Justice Binta Nyako is under gunpoint to either jail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or her husband and son will be jailed by EFCC. Justice Binta Nyako is at a crossroad as to jail an innocent man or allow her husband and son to go to jail. Justice Binta Nyako is human and will certainly do anything to save her husband and son from serving a prolonged jail sentence. IPOB understands the precarious situation Justice Binta Nyako has found herself in. That is why we demand that she steps down from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. IPOB is calling Binta Nyako to step down from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. She should avoid plunging Nigeria into an unimaginable crisis. Binta Nyako must redeem herself from this case, or posterity will never be kind to her and her generation. Justice Nyako should save herself from the mess that her husband has put her in by stepping down. Justice Binta Nyako is not the only High Court judge in Nigeria, but she is the preferred judge to the Nigeria government because they are using her husband's and son's pending fraud case with EFCC to blackmail her into submission and to do the will of the government. Justice Binta Nyako's hands are tied and cannot deliver justice for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. Biafrans, both home and the diaspora, demand that Justice Binta Nyako step down from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case without delay. She will not deliver a fair judgment because she is under an uncontrollable pressure from the federal government of Nigeria to jail an innocent man to save her husband and son from EFCC. Intimidating Justice Binta Nyako, a wife and mother, to choose between saving her child and husband from imprisonment for unproven fraud or to continue the illegal detention and jailing of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pure evil. IPOB will not allow our leader to be sacrificed for the sins of the Nyakos, and that is why we repeat our demand that Justice Binta Nyako step down without further delays. Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB. Press release, the 26th of April 2024. IPOB not responsible for 2021 Owerri jailbreak. Nigeria government and its security agencies are responsible. The attention of the global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the indomitable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has been drawn to dubiosity of the Nigerian army, accusing IPOB of being responsible for attack at the Owerri Correctional Center in Imo State on April 5, 2021. To put the record straight, the attack at Owerri Correctional Center was masterminded by the Nigerian security. Recently, the Nigeria Army at Obinze, Owerri, accused IPOB members of being responsible for the attack at Owerri prisons that freed the 1827 inmates of the facility. Owerri Correctional Center is situated in close proximity to many Nigeria security agencies. For example, the Nigeria Police Command Headquarters, the state's CID, over 6 police stations, the Government House DSS office, Naval Command, military base at Obinze are all in close proximity to the correctional facility in question. From eyewitness accounts, including Imo State Police's report, the attack on Owerri Correctional Center lasted for almost 4 hours without resistance or casualty. The question is, where were all the surrounding security forces within Owerri when the attack was going on and numerous gunshots were heard? Who then ordered these security forces not to respond to the distressed calls during the attack, which lasted nearly 4 hours? What kind of jailbreak can last for 4 hours without confrontation from any of the avalanche of security forces in and around Owerri Municipal, if not coordinated by the government itself? Nigeria Army is just disgracing their military institution and displaying unprofessionalism by engaging in media blackmail and propaganda. Why did the Nigeria Army wait for 3 years to start yapping rubbish about the attack at Owerri Correctional Center? The state-sponsored attack at the Owerri Correctional Center was organized by the Nigeria government with her security agencies, especially the army, to free criminals that they have been using in creating insecurity in the land of Biafra, particularly in Imo State, just to blackmail IPOB. For over three years, the Nigerian government refused to open an investigation on that attack, thinking that Nigerians may have forgotten it. But boom, they added the 2021 Owerri jailbreak to the list of their blackmailing strategies against IPOB in 2024. IPOB is not responsible for the Owerri jailbreak, period. It was the Nigeria government and her security agencies that masterminded the jailbreak in Owerri Correctional Center on April 5, 2021, and also at Kuje, Abuja jailbreak on July 5, 2022, to free criminals to be used for blackmailing IPOB and to release ISWAP terrorists in prison respectively. When IPOB members are illegally abducted, as always, and our lawyers go to their courts in Nigeria to defend and free them, that is when Nigeria presents this nonsensical allegation of jailbreak against them as the charge against them. This is ridiculous. IPOB members don't carry out jailbreak to free our members. IPOB are responsible and law-abiding, self-determination movement. Since 2021, that the attack on Owerri Correctional Center took place, the Nigeria government and Imo State government has not conducted a public investigation into the attack because they were accomplices. Suddenly, after 3 years, the Nigeria Army at Obinze, Owerri, has published the pictures of the purported 27 criminals they claimed were IPOB members that carried out the attacks. We dare them to also publish their names, their units, and names of their coordinators. The question is, if the Nigerian army did not respond to the distressed calls during the attack on the facility, and there hasn't been a published arrest of the assailants for 3 years, how did the Nigeria army get the photos of the so-called IPOB members they now claim carried out the attack? Why hasn't the Nigeria government and the Owerri Correctional Center published the names and pictures of the purported 1,827 inmates that escaped during that attack? The government knows why they are hiding the identities of the criminals that escaped and the men they sent to free them. The attackers at the Owerri Correctional Center were selected servicemen from the Nigeria Army, Police, DSS, and Prison Guard. All the security agencies' commanders in Owerri were briefed before the attack. That was why the attack went on for nearly 4 hours without resistance or casualty, irrespective of the many security formations in Owerri. The Nigerian government can't continue to deceive people with analytical minds, especially Biafrans. The Nigeria army should respect their institution. They should focus on confronting the unsurmountable insecurity challenges in Nigeria instead of being a tool for government propaganda. IPOB is already an institution, and ESN is a state actor on behalf of Biafra nation. Anyone or group regarding IPOB and ESN as non-state actors are mistaken. No amount of blackmail will deter our resolve for the Biafra self-determination project and full independence from Nigeria. Comrade Emma, Powerful Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB. Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media. IPOB press release, the 25th of April 2024. IPOB ESN not harassing Northerners. Northern Elders Forum are hypocrites and crisis instigators. The attention of the global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the indomitable and charismatic leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has been drawn to the statement credited to the Northern Elders Forum, NEF, accusing IPOB of harassing the Northerners in the East and mass killing of Fulani cows. The Northern Elders Forum are a bunch of hypocrites and crisis instigators who seldomly speak the truth. For public records purposes, IPOB and ESN are not attacking Northerners, including law-abiding Fulanis in the East. There are many responsible and law-abiding Northerners, including Fulanis doing legitimate businesses in the East without anyone harassing them. However, IPOB ESN are pursuing criminal elements and terrorists in our bushes, forests, and farmlands who are terrorizing our people, raping our women, killing our farmers, and destroying our farmlands and communities. On the mass killing of cows in the East, IPOB ESN takes responsibility for slaughtering the cows that these terrorists are using as conduits to occupy our farmlands and destroying our crops just to send the message that we don't want terrorists in our bushes and farmlands. Moreover, open grazing has been banned by the Southeast Governors Forum since 2020. There are houses for rent in all the cities and towns in Biafra land. There is no region that has houses more than the East in Nigeria. Any Fulani who is interested in doing a legitimate business should rent a house or properties like other citizens, and not to go and occupy bushes and graze in people's farms. If the northerners that are doing legitimate businesses in the cities should allow the Northern Elders Forum to refer to them as being harassed by IPOB because they are the sophisticated terrorists, mass murderers, rapists, and kidnappers in the Biafra forests and bushes, they will continue to be harassed by ESN until they vacate and then stop coming into our territory. Their notorious activities in every part of Nigeria are in the public domain. ESN and IPOB do not romance with or pamper criminals and terrorists. Therefore, the hypocritic NF can hold their peace and advise their foot soldiers for jihadists to back off from Biafra region. The Fulani terrorists, nicknamed herdsmen, have slaughtered and displaced many indigenous communities in Nigeria. Not once have their backers in the Northern Elders Forum condemned the murderous activities of Fulani herdsmen, especially in the Eastern region and Middle Belt region. Elders are supposed to be peacemakers, but the Northern Elders Forum are instigating trouble by saying that IPOB are attacking Northerners, especially Hausas and other tribes living in the East. Let them attack Easterners in the North and see the outcome. More so, the NEF tacitly endorsed the murderous activities of Fulani herdsmen by condemning IPOB for defending Biafra land against the Fulani herdsmen who have slaughtered thousands of the indigenous people and occupied their ancestral lands. The elders in this NEF are hypocrites. Clueless and uninformed they are behind the influx of foreign armed Fulani militia into Nigeria. These invaders are responsible for the mass slaughter of indigenous Hausas, Middle Belters, Biafrans as well as the Oduduwas. The Northern Elders Forum should tell their boys parading as herdsmen to stop any form of planned attack on Biafra community or meet their Waterloo. They must stop open grazing, kidnapping for ransom, raping of women and destruction of our farms, or continue to face ESN and IPOB venom. NEF should know that ESN has the mandate to protect our civilian population against criminals and terrorists. Biafrans believe in the sanctity of human lives, unlike the NEF, northern terrorists that believes in the sanctity of cows over that of human lives. You see that our value systems are miles apart and many times completely opposite of each other. IPOB ESN warns any group or institution that plans to destroy Ndigbo should be ready for the worst resistance ever. In the end, Ndigbo will never be vanquished or conquered. IPOB will continue to exist. ESN will step up their attack if the terrorists continue to encroach into our bushes and farms, destroying farms and crops while attacking our people. NEF must call their foot soldiers to order and stop encouraging them to keep killing people and destroying farmlands and other properties of the indigenous people. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government and security agencies know that ESN are after criminal elements parading as herdsmen, not against the innocent northerners. The attack against armed Fulani criminal elements is to ensure that Biafra land is free from terrorists and that our farmers can go to the farms without the fear of being killed by the terrorists. Northern Elders Forum should be ashamed of themselves by emboldening the murderous Fulani herdsmen. IPOB and ESN cannot be blackmailed or intimidated to backtrack on our mission to get rid of Fulani criminals, bandits, and terrorists from Biafra land. Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB.
Welcome to IPOB Rapture Media, IPOB press release, the 24th of April 2024. IPOB calls on Italian government to place arms embargo on the Nigeria government. The global family and movement of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the great and indomitable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, calls on the Italian government to halt sale of Air Force jets to the Nigeria government, but instead place an arms embargo on the Nigeria government for flagrant violations of human rights and shelling of peaceful communities of indigenous peoples in Nigeria. We call on all civilized nations to stop further sales of military hardware and software to Nigeria because of their pretense of fighting terrorists. The Nigeria government has created the terrorist groups that they are pretending to have been fighting in order to displace indigenous nations and allow individuals in power to loot the country's funds. Therefore, we appeal to the Italian government to stop the military aircraft purchase deal they entered into with the Nigeria government. We also ask other countries considering selling arms to Nigeria to stop because Nigeria is not using the arms for their intended purposes. IPOB has no intention to interfere with the Italian government's business, but wants to inform them that the Nigeria military have not used the previously acquired arms and ammunition, including fighter jets, to fight terrorists who operate in the open in the northern Nigeria, but have targeted innocent and peaceful people. Unarmed IPOB members have also been the victims of Nigeria military's brutality. Some of the internally displaced people's IDP camps in Nigeria have been intentionally bombed by the Nigeria military to prevent the displaced persons from returning to their communities already ceded to the terrorists as their own. Recently, an Okwama community in Delta State, Nigeria was invaded, bombed, and the entire community displaced by the Nigeria military. The Nigerian government and her murderous military are known for human rights violations and genocide against her civilians. In 2021, the Nigerian Air Force bought 12 inches A-29 Super Tucano jets from the United States of America to fight terrorism in Nigeria. After the delivery of those fighter jets, they were deployed in the eastern region of the country and were used in bombing of Igbo villages and its people, mostly in Olu local government area of Imo State. From the day the Tucano jets arrived Nigeria in 2021 till late 2023, they were never used against terrorists, but were consistently used in bombing of innocent people in Imo State, in the eastern part of the country that is Biafra land, and also in bombing of ID camps in the north, who are victims of Boko Haram terrorists' attacks. The Nigerian government's plan to purchase about 20 more fighter jets from Italy for the Nigerian Air Force now raises the question: why would the Italian government consider selling fighter jets to Nigeria to be used on innocent, armless, and peaceful Igbo communities like the US did in 2021? If the Italian government cares about the lives of indigenous peoples in Nigeria, then this deal has to be cancelled because it is a threat to the lives of millions of people resident in the eastern region, Igboland. Nigeria government deceived United States of America in 2021 that those Tucano jets will be used against terrorists in the country. Have they also told another lie to the Italian government so that they can